we're gonna finish this episode with a little storytelling because the other night the NBA on Prime crew were discussing their welcome to retirement moments. For example, Steve Nash said it was when he was guarding Steph. Blake said it was an Evan Mobley moment for him. UD said guarding Hassan Whiteside in practice told him it was time to retire. I want to know as we wrap
But
this up.
UD played 8 years after that.
So did you.
After that. I'm gonna tell you.
I want to know your retirement moment.
You know what was mine?
And then we're done.
When I was riding the bench as the backup center, the third center, to Alexa Agensa and Amir Asik. And I said to myself, this is the end of the road. I was backing up Alexa Agensa and Amir Asik in New Orleans. And right there,
They weren't trying to win anyway. They weren't trying to win.
Right there, I started to see the darkness. Yeah.
Were courtside seats more than $25?
They was giving them away.
I'm just kidding. Rich, what was your come to Jesus? It's time to retire moment.
When I
don't.
Honestly, when I didn't have a job to start the season, that was it. No, all kidding aside, I truly believe that if I wanted to, I could have played one more year. I actually turned down a contract waiting for another team, and that didn't transpire. And then I had a conversation with my agent. I turned down an offer waiting for another team. And then free agency goes, that team decided not to go that direction. So ideally, I could have waited a year. Well, not waited a year, but I could have worked out and then been signed. Like you look at a DeAndre Ayton, I could have done that. That was also the year that like Gordon Hayward got hurt the first game of the season. And so it's like not like I'm saying then all of a sudden all those young players get bumped up. I could have been the third or fourth wing on a roster, just for an example of how a player could be waiting and then you get the call. So I chose not to wait for a call and then to go heavily into broadcasting. And I'll tell you exactly what my agent at the time, Jeff Ford, said. I said to him, I'm like, hey, should I wait? I was like, honestly, I don't feel like waiting and working out for months or because it could be a week, it could be 2 months. He was like, Richard, if broadcasting is something that you want to do, there's going to be Hall of Famers every year that are retiring. Next year it's going to be somebody else. Next year it's going to be somebody else. So if this is what you want to do, and you're going to go into broadcasting, you can't go tiptoe into it and then come back out. He goes, this is really what you want to do. You should go 100%. So at that point in time, I made a decision to put basketball 100% behind me and then go 100% into broadcasting. So there was I had already been very comfortable as like, I was a 20-point a game scorer, then I was a 12-point a game scorer, then I was a 5-point a game off the bench 3-and-D guy and was in that role for, the last 6-7 years of my career. I could have played another year, chose not to wait on the call, and then decided to go 100% here. So was there a come to Jesus moment of like, I'm done? No, because I felt like I still could have. We went 2 NBA finals, right? Where I was coming off the bench, having impacts. And then the next year is the third year. I go to Denver, and then that's the end of my career. So I could have like a championship team could have been like, hey, we just saw you in the finals. Mind you, I'd have been 37, 38, but in that role, which you would have asked of me, I could have contributed. Right. And so I just decided to go 100% into broadcasting. I'd been getting cooked. I was getting cooked by Kevin Durant in the finals. I was getting cooked. So it wasn't like somebody made me. And it's like, no, I can give you 12 to 15 good, strong minutes. I can give that to you. But I just decided to go another route.
But you know what? The worst thing in the world is not retiring on your own terms. When that phone stopped ringing, you talk about You talk about a pain in your heart that's unreal. Like seriously, that phone stopped ringing when you think you about to be in the league 2, 3 more years, and all of a sudden you calling your agent, and your agent is saying, "Hey, they got an offer for you overseas," and you fire that agent, and you like, "Man, he ain't getting it." And you
Then you
call
fire
and
that
you
agent.
call
For
another yeah,
where?
and you call another agent, and they like, nah, big fella, it ain't really nothing. We're gonna have to wait and all this. Like I held on too long, right? Like, but I will say this, I held on too long. I went to the G League, but the G League was the best, one of the best experiences of my career. Most humbling experience, and I got to experience a lot. It put me back in real life. Like the NBA has you in this like not in real life world, right? The
Yeah,
G League, it puts you back. Like when you in the church and you're working out and all of a sudden you see a 70-year-old that's waiting on you to finish, your curls, you know what I'm saying? Or you
yeah,
can't do your supersets because somebody on the machine, like that, yeah. So it hits you. 12-hour bus rides, it hits you. I had three of them.
mm.
After the third one,
Yeah,
I
I
walked
ain't,
in.
yeah.
Hey, we
It
had a
was,
meeting. We had a meeting. I remember we got back. We had practice the next morning. We walked in. Coach was like, "All right, we're gonna talk about this." I came in. I said, "Hey, Coach Nate, man, I appreciate everything, but and fellas, man, good luck to y'all. But I'm retired. I'm retired.
yeah, yeah.
I'm,
No,
I'm
and
retired."
I'm retired.
From-
But and that's I guess look for me, I was literally I think I was like 90 points away from 15,000, right? So if I was like wanting to like hit a benchmark or do something thing, so but even then it was like, look, I'm 15,000 if you include playoffs. So I feel okay. But you know what I'm saying? Total point. So but I say that to say it was the hardest thing. It was also coming off when my father had passed away. And so it was very, very difficult. But also, I felt better because, again, we had been 3, 4 years into road tripping. I had prepared myself for this next phase. The Nets and Frank DeGrace, who's now running NBC and their new basketball division, he was there at the Nets and he was there and was like, Richard, we want to hire you. And then him and Flip. And so I had all of these mentors in the media space that helped me and guided me. I sat next to Ian Eagle, called my first game. I didn't know that this dude was a freaking icon. I just thought he was funny. Then I got to sit next to Ryan Rucco, Sarah Kustok, Grady. So I was so blessed to enter into a great media space. And even when I got to ESPN, it was launching Get Up and it was Dominic Foxworth, it was RC, it was Perk, it was Jay Williams, it was I said Perk Big Head, it
I
was
was
it
just
was
fucking
Dan
with you.
Orlovsky, salute my guy. All it was Swagoo. So I got to work with Laura Rutledge. I got to work with so many great people when I first got started. So I was very, very blessed in my transition, but that transition had started 4 or 5 years prior to that. And my agent was kind of like, hey, bro, if you say this is what you want to do, you're not a 10-time all-star, you're not a Hall of Famer. You're gonna have to get in the mud and grind. And that year I worked for the Pac-12, I worked for Fox Sports, I worked for the Yes Network, I worked for CBS, I worked for ESPN, and I worked for the Yes Network. All of those companies I worked for, including doing road tripping. So
How
that
many
just
flights you missed?
motherfucker, how many flights I take? I miss 100 flights. When I started going through regular TSA as a civilian, bro, that was ugh,
That's
that
the
was
other thing.
God. When you start going through TSA, I had never done anything like that, man. It was like all this, and it was a weird. That was a weird feeling. But I say that to say is like that was for me. It was a decision, and I look back on it. I feel very blessed that excuse me, I got to walk away when I did. Would I have loved to play more? Yes. Could I have played more? Yes. And but I didn't have much longer. I had probably one more year maximum before my body was going to completely break down. But I say it from a standpoint, it was like it was hard, but I was fortunate how the transition happened and who I had been working with. But a lot of that was because I had been working 3, 4 years in the media space to be ready for that transition.
Thanks for their open and honest conversation about y'all's stories. That's obviously what Road Trippin is all about. No one tells their stories better than us. At the same time, our retirement story is to each his own. It's everyone's own individual story, and it looks differently for everyone. So I appreciate the both of you taking that opportunity. I think at the end of the day, so many people just look at professional athletes as that, just that. And they don't understand the real heart, the dedication, the commitment, everything that you guys put into your point, Perk, of how much it hurts when that call or when that realization really comes to fruition. Or just
Athletes die twice. Athletes die twice.
there you go.